What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 84 of the Finale Podcast. Today I'm joined by Ashford and Ife to talk about some relevant topics within the NBA. Guys, how you been?
Doing really good.
Doing good?
Chilling. Can't complain.
Chalkboard Nation, right? You're doing well.
Allegations won't, we won't put that on,
Doing our thing.
public,
Gambling,
got mamas watching, sure you know what that is, so.
All right. We got a few topics to get into, so let's get started with the first one. Western Conference top four. So the top four right now, Minnesota's at 1, Denver's at 2, OKC's at 3, and then the Clippers are at 4. So just want to get you guys' thoughts first on overall summary of how these teams are playing. Who do you think, is playing the best in that 4?
You want to go before you want to go?
You can start.
All right. It's kind of hard. I'd probably say, although the record doesn't reflect it at the moment, as opposed to far as seeding, I would say the Clippers.
Okay.
Since that losing streak that they had when they first got James Harden, it's just been consistent. There's been a few games that's dropped a little bit, but other than that, they just been on a tear. The Thunder have held their own. They did lose to Minnesota last night at home and lost to Detroit. There's some couple games there. Denver's being consistent as always. They beat the Bucks last night. And yeah, the Timberwolves. There's been some games we have talked about, probably in our own chats where there's been some W's, but the fourth quarter, finishing has been a little questionable given past history as just being T-Wolves fandom. I would give the Clippers the edge for now. That 1 through 4 is going to be tough. I don't know, that's going to be the consistent 4, and even beyond just them too. The Kings are coming up. They're the 5th seed, but they're 27-18. They're not too far from the Clippers. You know what I mean? So it's the Suns are on a win streak. The West is tough, man. So my only fear is that within those 4 teams, God forbid, of course, if any team has a major injury to one of the stars, that could drop significantly given how close that they are. So
right,
that'd be my only worry. But other than that, yeah, it's been good basketball all around for them.
All right. For me personally, I would say I've been really surprised by the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder because during the offseason, we expected both teams to take leaps, but I don't think most people expected them to be near the top of the standings. And Minnesota have been playing really good. They have the number 1 defense in the league. Rudy Gobert has been playing at an all defensive level, and Anthony Edwards is taking strides into being one of the best players in the league. And in Oklahoma City too, we saw the emergence of Shea last year, but this year he's playing at an even higher level. And they've gotten Chet, who's been playing as possibly the best rookie other than Wemby. And also they have some other young guys like Jalen Williams, who's really emerged this season. So shout out to those two. But I think the Clippers and the Nuggets are playing good, but it's not really surprising for me personally,
right,
because both teams are very talented, and I expected them to be at the top of the standings. But I gotta give the Clippers credit because in the beginning of the season they started off really poor, but towards lately they've been playing really good with James Harden and their team, and especially with Russell Westbrook going to the bench, and he's playing at a really high level. So yeah.
Would you say the Clippers are the best then out of the 4?
I wouldn't say the Clippers are the best. I still think the best team in the West has to be Denver. Okay. But I think that the Clippers, I would say they're probably the second best, honestly, and they do have a chance to potentially be contenders out of the West. So
for sure.
Just to not backpedal, but just to piggyback off that. Yeah, I agree. Denver still is the best team, but I do think the Clippers have been playing the best. If that makes sense. Yeah. Within these past games, they're, I don't know, not beyond just their star players, but Norman Powell's been playing really well. They've been without Zubac. Their role players have been really hitting it from threes.
Yep.
And Harden's been like a key factor to them too. Like not so much has to be like scoring wise, just like the energy that he brings, like as far as like running that offense. Like I know people laugh when it was saying like he's a system, but like bro, he's a system. It can translate to different ways. You know,
Hmm.
obviously it's not the Houston James Harden, but that also wasn't then a D'Antoni system. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean he can't translate to other ways. He also played for OKC. You know, was good from as like a catch and shoot. You know, 40% shooter. So it's like he can diversify his game in other ways too, and the playmaking ability. We already know that that's bar none. So and again, it's all without Zubac too. Not saying he's like this great big, but I recently saw a pod. I think Zubac was talking to Paul George, and he was just saying how like him and James Harden's connection like really developed to the point where like after practice, like they spent like 30 minutes just like running pick and rolls, and like Zubac was like, "Bro, I'm not trying to do this," but it's like his numbers are we're doing better, so it's like you gonna stay after these 30 minutes or not? You know what I mean? So I think that
Hmm.
just shows how much of the work ethic Harden has, and also too what he's brought to this team and shows. You know, their I don't even know what their record is now since that losing streak, like 22-5, something like that. But yeah, Clippers they look legit. I feel like it might be early, but they look like the most threat to the Nuggets. Say if Denver don't make the finals, um, personally, given all health and stuff like that. But time will tell.
I disagree.
Do you want to elaborate? Like,
Yeah,
yo,
I'll
we all can just
elaborate.
disagree. You know what I mean? This is our
No,
podcast. We talking.
no, but shout out to the Clippers though. Not only are they good offensively, but they're good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 defense, top 10 offense. So they're playing well. What I'm noticing about those four, Kawhi, PG, Russ, and Harden, is that they're not getting in each other's way and they're keeping others involved. Norman Powell, Terrence Mann, Daniel Tice right now, and Mason Plumlee are the bigs. So they're playing at a high level too. And Amir Coffey, like, hey man, shout out to him. He's
Yeah.
playing clutch minutes last night against Cleveland. I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, he came a long way. But uh, no, I like their team. I like their rotation. I like their depth. So I'm a fan of them. For me, though, my biggest thing that I would look at with them is defensive intensity. They lost to the Cavs last night. A lot of fast break points. Some shots, defensively didn't look like they were all connected. So they're a good defense, as I said, but can they maintain that throughout a series, throughout a playoff run? I think that's where my biggest concern has been when or since they've, had these uh the Kawhi and PG era probably when they've been like the scoring heavy unit, isolation basketball. So that's my biggest concern with them. But I like them a lot though. I think they're for sure gonna at least make it to the second round. It's just a matter of who's gonna show up every night. They're gonna need at least two of them, like we were saying, earlier on the call. I feel like they need at least two of those guys to show up nightly, and the role players have to continue to hit shots like they are doing right now because that's really what's gonna make the difference. I feel like against some of these other teams in the West. But yeah, nah, I mean, and then you say the Nuggets you said are still the favorite for you.
Yeah. Also, I'll say they're still a favorite. I feel like even within their play, I think what like we said, I think they're the second and like it feels like they've been kind of like coasting a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
I know Jamal's been out for like a little bit, but like, it doesn't feel like they're like in full like 100% gear and they're still doing really well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
and just offensively, they look the most fluid. Defensively too. My only I guess question mark for them come playoff time is just like how does the role players play? Just given how like last year you had Bruce Brown, Christian Braun, just had a lot of good like role player like depth and play. And I know they've incorporated kind of new Peyton Watson. Um, Christian Brown's been playing, but like it has been the same level as like that finals small stint that he had. Maybe things
Hmm.
could change again. Also, too, his role is not looked as like he's like a heavy reliant on either. You know what I mean? The starting five is still going to be solid. Um, and plus, I mean, the playoffs, the rotations get shortened down anyways. I'm just interested to see how like that rotation works for them as far as like the role players, as far as like hitting those clutch shots or getting those nice defensive stops. Because, hey man, yeah, starting five that's huge, but like role players, hey, it can make a break around the championship just off
Yep.
close buckets. So interesting to
Yeah,
see.
I agree with that. I mean, their bench for sure has to show up in the playoffs as it did last year. Um, so it's Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, Reggie Jackson, DeAndre Jordan, and then someone else I'm missing. But it's like it's obviously not the greatest unit, so it's
Mm,
hard for me to see like how they'll be consistent. And then with the starting unit, it's just like sometimes KCP and MPJ and Aaron Gordon aren't always having the best game. So it's obviously like they've been heavily reliant on Jamal and Jokic, who have been playing really well recently. Jamal Murray
mm,
averaging 24 and 7 over the past month, and Jokic is averaging 27, 12, and 9. And they're 7 and 3 in their last 10 games. So I like what they're doing, and they're looking like they're getting their groove back as a team, and a team that's really hard to play against when they're at home. But they just made those role players just made key plays throughout their championship run last year, and I think that's what they might be missing. On top of the fact that they were just
mm.
hitting shots in every series, which was like crazy for me to see. Like, because I wasn't expecting KCP
Yeah.
and guys like that to hit on that level, but that's what they're going to need again this playoff run. But they're definitely but they're the favorite for me as well. Just experience, and a lot of it goes through Jokic and Murray, and they've been playing at a high level, so they're my favorite. But as far as the Thunder and the Wolves, I mean, young, up and coming teams, I would say for the Thunder. Uh, I think SGA. If this is I don't think this is a hot take, but I think SGA is the best ISO player in the league right now in terms of his effectiveness,
Yeah.
efficiency, and not just that, but like getting shots for others. With how he's able to obtain gravity and pass the ball out with his passing ability. And then defensively, he's obviously underrated. I think we were saying, right? I think
Mm,
he's underrated. So
Yeah.
I think he's playing at a high level. Like personally, I don't know what the MVP ladder is right now, but I don't see many people who are higher than him on that MVP rank right now. So they're playing at a high level. Yeah, yeah, you said they lost the last two games, but definitely exceeding expectations right now. J Dub, not all star level right now, but he definitely took a jump. And then Chet, um, I like Chet. He's obviously, he's a rookie and surprising with how he's playing right now. Rookie of the year, potentially for sure. I think Wemby is starting to get a little bit more groove though, and he's going to have more opportunities to get those individual stats. So he might eventually run away with it. I don't know, but that's just what I see happening. But anyways, like Chet is involved in like, potentially a playoff run. So I think he's definitely exceeded expectations of his own for his first year. But yeah, for them, they're a top 10 offense, top 10 defense, I believe. Oh, top five offense, top five defense as well. So, like I said to you guys, how consistent will their complementary players be when it comes to the playoffs? Because you got guys in there like Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, um, Josh Giddey, guys like that are going to have to play at a high level. And of course, they're inexperienced too. So, how's it all going to play when it comes to the playoff environments? And Lou Dort as well, who's an improved shooter, but sometimes doesn't always bring that to, every game. So, they're just going to need to, continue playing at this level and see how that translates into playoffs because I'm sure Shea is going to get the bulk of that defensive assignment. But uh, yeah, before I go into Minnesota, like, what do you guys think? Um, how would you guys rank these four teams though, real quick, at this point?
For me personally, I would have to go number one, the Nuggets, number two, Clippers. And I feel like three and four are really interchangeable with
Mm-hmm.
OKC and Minnesota. But right now, I would probably go to Minnesota just because they won the last game against the Thunder,
Yep.
especially in their they won in OKC too, and I
Yep.
feel like they do have more playoff experience than the Thunder, so that's why I would
Yep.
lean towards Minnesota at three.
same. And just to again agree, like that last game really like was the flip of who I'd put 3 or 4 because it is interchangeable. But I think that like
Mm.
that closeout in OKC was really clutch. Even with I mean to Easter on some of the foul calls that the Thunder got as opposed to what we got was kind of just it is what it
Crazy.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean beyond that, it was a good game though. Like low
Mm-hmm.
scoring. Like I think towards, if I'm not mistaken, I think like towards the end of the third. it was like 62, 68 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was like high 60s, like low 70s. Like that's crazy given like the pace of the NBA and how
Yeah.
just every team's like overall point stats is just so high now. But yeah, there's two teams I locked down. I think with Minnesota's offense, there has been some stagnancy, and we also have seen like without Mike Conley how much that's been a big hit for us.
Yeah.
Um, but with that, just the like defensive assignment that we have is like kind of our emphasis as a team has like saved us
Hmm.
in possessions in games, which is good to have, but come playoff time, I mean you do need that offense too, you know what I mean? So
Right.
and even with Mike Conley being there, like it does help keep the flow. But I don't know how much of a change it really is when you say come playoff time. You know what I mean? That's not to his fault,
Mm.
but that's just more so a team effort. That's just be my only concern. As with the Thunder, I mean, young team, top five offense, defense. As we talked about this yesterday, but I think
But how would you rank
with
these four though?
so that's what I said. Oh, my fault. I'm going to tangent. That was the four I'd
Dang.
say.
No
Denver,
play.
Denver, Clippers, T Wolves, Thunder. Yeah.
Continue though, Thunder.
But, oh, I was just saying, just pick what we talked about yesterday. Like, I think J Dub and Shea they're gonna be solid. I think like you said earlier, just like with the role players, see how they play on their own. I do think Chet though with the bigs are in the West, which is gonna be a little tough for him.
Hmm.
Kind of creating play or like defensive assignments, just because again you're gonna face the ADs, the Jokic's, save the match with King Sabonis. You know what I mean? Those are like big bruiser
Yeah.
guys too. So, and we saw kind of last night how he held up against Gobert and Cat. He didn't have the best like stat performing wise, and even when
Yeah.
he was on the perimeter and Gobert, like you would think that'd be his way to like drive. Like he still have tough times to get. He would step back, snatch back, pass it out. So I think that'd be the only concern. But I mean, other than that, like the sky's the limit for them. So, and it's only going to be like their first year as like a team in the playoffs. So imagine what the potential could
Right.
be after the season. So,
Yeah. Also with Chet, like you can see how his lack of strength affects him
you know,
in these matchups as well. I still think he's like an elite shot blocker. I feel like he had like 3 blocks at least last night, but Gobert was able to pin him down low and just dunk on him a couple of times, and he's been doing that
Mhm.
like almost in every single matchup. And Gobert doesn't usually do that to people, so
mm,
I'm concerned about like how he's gonna fare in those environments when he is against those bigs because there are so many bigs that he'll see. Uh, Obviously, if they lay it up, he obviously still has a chance with his verticality and everything like that, but I think there could be some problems if he's not able to find a way to expose some of these matchups on the perimeter and then, make himself more of a threat because I feel like there's going to be a way where teams guard him in a zone. And that's what Minnesota were doing. And it just seemed like, Jaden McDaniels was getting in his way, Kyle Anderson. So it just feels like Minnesota had a lot of answers for him. And he'll be more of a threat when he's able to knock down those shots. And they're going to need that, I think, because I don't think it's just going to be enough when you have SGA and J Dub doing the majority of the work. But I don't think Chet is going to, shy away from that playoff environment or, not be able to contribute as he's been doing all year. I just think that's something to look out for when it comes to the matchups. But real quick, what I would rank him before I go into Minnesota, yeah, I'll say Nuggets 1, Minnesota 2,
No,
Clippers
it's
3, and
Clippers too.
then Thunder 4. The
Oh, for
reason why I
you?
have, huh?
No, never mind. I thought you were talking about what we said, but
Oh my, no, I mean, how would I rank them? Like top 4, right?
oh, okay,
I
okay, I got you,
said,
I got you, I got you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Nuggets. I mean, they're the favorite. Minnesota. Why I have them over the Clippers? Uh, just the matchup when I was watching them play, I just feel like the Clippers are very reliant on their shot making. When the shot's not falling, it affects their defensive intensity. But when it is falling, you can tell that they're much more of a unit on that side of the ball, and they're much harder to play against. As you saw in the fourth quarter of that game, where they just went on a run as they were hitting shots, like literally every shot, kind of like how the Spurs were the other night against Minnesota. It just seems like they're one of those teams that their offense fuels their defense. And when that's not happening against a team like Minnesota, who's number one in the league in defense, and they have so many bigger guys that can not only guard their smaller guys, but guard their wings, that's a problem. And then their lack of that big man presence, I think, can also be something to watch out for. And I'm starting to see also Minnesota, like Cat is starting to be a little bit better out of those double teams, not really forcing it as much. So I don't know. I feel like Minnesota I'd give the slight advantage to, although the Clippers have been on a tear and definitely playing better than Minnesota of late. When it comes to a playoff matchup, I would like Minnesota's chances more than I would like them against Denver, probably. I'm not gonna lie. Although I do like them versus Denver, I'd say the Clippers just they still have that unpredictability towards them, if you guys know what I mean. But for the Wolves, though, turnovers have lessened. But my biggest thing for me is I feel like they still miss something, and they might need to address that at the trade deadline. Whether it's a shooter, whether it's a facilitator. I saw that they were looking at um,
Bogdan.
Bogdanovich from the Hawks,
Mm,
Bogdanovich,
Hmm.
which I think would be a good addition. Not gonna lie, because what he's been able to do since he's got to Atlanta, and then obviously his time in Sacramento, I think he's a knockdown shooter. Minnesota could use that off the bench for sure. So I'd like that move. And then for a facilitator, I mean, there's a number of guys you can go in. Tyus Jones, obviously a popular name, but I don't know. I think Minnesota need to make a move or potentially just look into the buyout market because they might they sometimes rely a little bit too much on Mike Conley, and although they did win last night without Mike Conley, I think they could use that extra boost off the bench when Naz Reid or like Nikhil Alexander Walker aren't having their best offensive game. So that's really what my takeaway is for Minnesota. But I think they've done a really good job of staying consistent this year, which is why I have them overall over the Clippers right now. But it's a tight top four. And then yeah, Minnesota being number one in defense, but then being number 19 in offense, it doesn't make them as dangerous. So that's something I'm looking out for too, which is I hope they're going to be able to address that as well. Whether even if they don't make a trade, I just want them to kind of find some consistency before the All-Star break and, find out where they go from there. But last thing that I'll say on Minnesota, I'm hoping that they get that number one seed by the All-Star break so the coaching staff gets to be in the All-Star game. I think that'd be pretty cool too. But yeah.
Well, they do that.
Yeah. The first
I
seed
didn't
in
know that.
each conference gets to coach the All-Star game
Oh, that's cool. I actually
at the
never heard of
All-Star
that.
break. Yeah, so that's never happened before, I think. You know,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of crazy. Anthony Edwards, Finch.
hmm
One, one day they're calling
That
for
would be
Finch's
crazy.
head. Next day they want Finch in the All-Star game. Sheesh.
I'm
Hey.
dead. He loved that. He was playing that. He was playing that bar. I'm already knowing.
Nah. But
Mm,
nah, that's what Wolves Twitter does though. They keep receipts. They're like, "Oh, what
mm,
happened to Finch, you know? Like, what y'all saying about Finch? Like, so
mm. Yeah.
now shout out to those four though. And like you said earlier, like there are definitely some teams outside the top four that could cause some problems. But these top four have separated themselves, I feel like. And I will say though, I want it to work out where it's Minnesota versus OKC in the second round or in the Western Conference Finals. Like if it's two and three seed, that'd be a good matchup. Second round,
Mm,
I think that's the most likely thing. I don't know how because I feel like Denver is just
Yeah.
not going to let up. It's going to be hard for
yeah.
Minnesota to hold on. Yeah, it's just like,
Yes.
dang.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. It's
so,
not. That's not. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just kind of admitting it right now. Denver the best team, but Minnesota OKC matchup that's going to be definitely like two young teams. Kind of like Minnesota versus Memphis a couple years ago. I feel like, especially with the way the series went this year, two versus two. I think it'd be a good series. But let's move on to the Knicks. Uh, Man, only two losses this month. Two losses since the OG Anunoby trade. They're playing at a high level right now. Um, they've had some good wins as well. Jalen Brunson starting to show why. Oh, he's been showing why he's been an All-Star snub.
Mm,
His averages are 29 and 9 this month, so he's playing at a high level personally. Then the team, I think the role players are playing good too, like DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. Uh, just collectively, they're all playing really well. Julius Randle, unfortunately, for my fantasy team, another injury, so he's going to be out for a little bit. Isaiah Hartenstein, who's been big for them, he's out right now. So I think they just added Taj Gibson to 10-day contract. They keep bringing back
And
Taj, but
yep, yep, yep.
yeah,
Oh,
but
bull, little
no,
bull.
Level. What's your thoughts on New York though? Like, you know,
They've been playing really well. Um, since the OG trade, I don't know the team just looks more fluid. It's unfortunate Julius Randle being out, and very unfortunate Jalen Brunson wasn't all-star starter.
yeah.
I think when they announced the starters, I think collectively NBA fandom not shocked because it's Dame, but it's like given the season Dame is having, which is still good to a regular NBA standard, Jalen Brunson just deserved that nod. Like he's just playing like just at an elite level, like to the point where he could have like maybe I don't know the guards is tough in the league, but potentially like all NBA type talks potentially. You know, I don't think that's too crazy to sound. Again, guards are kind of tough, but now the Knicks have been playing really well.
Yeah.
You mentioned the role players too. I think like last night, like almost like on triple double watch, like Josh Hart's been
Uh,
playing well. Um, all the Villanova boys, they've just been playing well. Hartenstein too, with Mitchell Robinson being out for the season, been good. Just been good for them. I don't know. I definitely I wasn't expecting this turnaround. With since the OG trade. I knew OG was going to help the team. I didn't know how impactful and it's showing now. And maybe I need to watch more Knicks games to fully like see the impact. Like I've seen the highlights and stuff like that, and of course the record's hard to ignore too. Um, but yeah, they're just a serious team. I do think after this is their team, and like they still have more pieces to get. That's more in like
mm,
maybe later years. Donovan Mitchell, that rumor has always been like lingering. Um, but yeah, even within that though, like they look very good. Now, as far as like stacking amongst the East, you still got
yeah.
the Celtics, bar none, look like the best in the East. You have Philly, who look good. You have Milwaukee, who looks good, but defensively, I'm kind of, you know, um, and Orlando's been playing well. Miami's been on. I mean, I think it's like the 7 game losing streak, but come playoff time, they're gonna turn it around. Um,
Cleveland.
hopefully, if the offense, oh, Cleveland too. Oh, damn, I forgot about that. Donovan Mitchell's been playing like I forgot about that. Yeah, true. And Mobley came back last night too. And I think Darius Garland comes back tonight too. So like they'll have their first full squad since like the beginning of the season. Um, Jared Allen's been playing really well too. So I don't know. It's tough. I don't know where to rank the Knicks though, as far as like tiers in the East. I would put them. I'd like to see them go against the Cavs again to really see like, okay, how do they mesh? But I don't know if I put them like with like the Celtics and Bucks tier.
What if you had to put a
Stuff like
percentage
that.
on it?
Mhm.
What percentage would you say the likelihood they advance to the conference finals?
It depends on matchup. If they face the Celtics in first or second round, nah. But
Just
ooh,
percentage.
percentage. I would say 25-ish.
Man,
I don't know if that's high or low, but
that's kind of low, I feel like.
really, I mean, I'm thinking like
Nine
I'm thinking.
on that.
No, go ahead.
Now I say me personally, I think that's kind of high, honestly. Because the thing about the Knicks
Mm,
is, yeah, they've been playing really good, but I mean, Julius Randle just got hurt, so and he's gonna miss a prolonged period of time. So I don't really know how much that affects them and they got a really tough schedule coming up. But me personally, I feel like the world's too focused too much on the Knicks, and the team that's not really getting on their credit is the Cleveland Cavaliers because
hmm
they've won the last 9 out of 10 games,
I
and the
know.
only team they lost to was Milwaukee, and they actually did beat Milwaukee in that span too. And they've been missing Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, but Evan Mobley just came back, and like you said, Darius Garland's coming back soon. So I feel like with a full squad, they can be really dangerous, especially come playoff time. Especially if you can get Donovan Mitchell playing at that really elite level. So I feel like the team that's really stepped on to me personally is Cleveland, and I think that they could potentially make a run in the playoffs so, sneakily.
I would agree. I think Cleveland slept on for sure, but I mean, those two matched up last year and Knicks completely outmatched them. And
That was
now the
last
Knicks
year.
are better. So,
but then you could say Cleveland's better too because they're playing at a really high
Oh,
level as well.
And you got to keep in mind, Mitchell Robinson's out for the season. He had a big impact last year in the playoffs for them against the Cavs too.
Facts.
yeah, but Hartenstein
And I'm
is also a shot blocker there too. So
nah,
defensively,
but
True.
I think, but defensively, I think Cleveland is a much better team because like Donovan Mitchell's a lead defender. You got Evan Mobley as well as
I don't
um
know about much better. I mean, Knicks have been playing really good defensively.
not much better, but I still think that they're a better defensive team. And
So what's gonna make the difference this year if the Knicks got OG Anunoby now added to what they got right now already?
I think that Donovan Mitchell he makes a difference because I think that
Okay,
I yeah I don't know I would personally take Donovan Mitchell over Jalen Brunson. So
okay.
and yeah
I mean,
I yeah.
Donovan Mitchell played at a high level last year as well, but he just didn't show up in that series. So that's where you gotta look at too. Like, how do they match up against each other? Jalen Brunson
he's coming
outplayed
for
him.
vengeance.
All
He's
right,
coming.
coming for Jim. Okay, vengeance. I can see that happening. Um, I would also like to see potentially that matchup. I think it would be 4-5 matchup this year, right? With Knicks Cavs. I think that'd be a good, you know,
Yeah.
a good rematch. Last year lights too bright, like Jared Allen said. So I
Mhm.
think definitely the front court of Cleveland has to be able to dominate though for this time around. So we'll see
Yeah.
if that's the case. And Cleveland, you know, I'll for sure say they've gotten better. They've added guys like Max Strus and Niang and Karis LeVert's playing well too. I like what they're doing overall. I don't know. I just feel like New York's a little bit more seasoned personally, but we'll see what happens. I think that'd be a good matchup. As far as the Knicks though, um, I think the percentage I'd put on it with that question I asked earlier, I'd say they're it's like a 50-50 for me, right? Because they've beaten Milwaukee already, which is impressive, I would say. But Milwaukee have a new coaching staff now, so by the playoff times, it might be a completely different team. Probably Doc Rivers is going to have them focusing more on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that'll make their defensive players much more involved. So I think they'll be a different team come playoff time. So don't know about that one with Boston. I mean, they've been losing a little bit now. Lost to the Clippers, like took care of them easy out when at the Garden, and then lost to Denver. So there's obviously the thing with Boston is their heavy 3-point attempts and sometimes JB and JT settling. And then you don't know always what you're going to get from Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis personally, if you ask me. But and then Al Horford too. So, but I'm not trying to make a case for New York there. I think Boston's still the better team. And then with Philly, it's just like Embiid's availability and how good will Maxi be in those environments too that I'm looking at with this being
Mhm.
his fourth season, I want to say now. Came in with Ant. I want to say fourth season. So yeah, just looking at those few things, how are they going to match up? I think there's a 50-50 chance that they beat Milwaukee. Uh, like a 40% chance they could beat Philly, and like a 35% chance they could beat Boston. So I think let's say that's about 50% average.
You have a higher odds of them beating Milwaukee than Philly,
Oh yeah.
even with, like you said, Joel Embiid's availability and Tyrese Maxey's. I mean, at this level that he's at, like his offensive consistency going to playoff time.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think Joel Embiid's not going to be like, missing games for stuff like little stuff in the playoffs anyways, but Maxi, I'm more like he's shown it since his first year in the playoffs, like or his first year like heavily involved in the playoffs that, he can play at that level. Um so he's a playoff performer for sure. I just think the reliance on him is a little bit more now without James Harden, so um that's going to be more of a factor of how well he plays because he's been playing at a high level with his playmaking and scoring this year. So they're really relying on that from him. And then guys like Tobias Harris and their role players stepping up when needed. It's not always a guarantee with Philly. They haven't really got over that second round hump. So we'll see if that's the year this year. But I think I would say Milwaukee. Just personally, I give them a higher chance against because they have a lot of things to work out, and then I just think they matched up really well against the Bucks on Christmas. So that's really where I'm at with the matchups. I think that's the most important thing, and I think they have the best matchup against Milwaukee in terms of guarding Giannis and the rest of the other guys. Because Dame is going to do his thing. He's
Yeah,
definitely with the 2 man game with Brook Lopez can be really good, but I think they have a good method to guard Giannis right now, and that's where I can see them beating them. But like I said, Doc Rivers probably going to have them playing a lot different come that time if it happens.
okay. We'll see, man. The playoffs is gonna be interesting this year. I do want to see. Okay, say if the Knicks. Okay, it depends because if they're a 4 or 5 seed, assuming it's them and Cavs, that stays consistent. Say if they lose within the first round, do you look at it as like a failure for a season? Not a failure, but disappointment.
Disappointment definitely because that's regression, and you don't want to see
Mm,
that, especially with a level that they stepped up this year. That'd definitely be a disappointment, I would say.
okay, I get the disappointment, but at the same time, I do think the Cavs. I would like to think they're going to play better than what they did last year, especially as a team. Talk about like the Jordan, like the
Yeah,
big man tandem. Also, too, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, just like that tandem, just not working consistently. It always felt like it was like one or the other. That was kind of like that had a night. And I like to think they would do better this come playoff time. Um, and I was gonna say earlier when you feel soccer, like ideally I would take Donovan Mitchell over Jalen Brunson, like in a playoff setting. But it's so close, man. I feel like at this
it's
It
point,
is close.
close.
like it's kind of just like yeah, just like a coin toss at this point. The way Jalen Brunson's been playing, even
Hmm.
before Jalen Brunson been playing at this level, like I think, like I said with the Mavs, like he
Yeah,
played at like a very well level given like the role they was at, and you kind of see
yeah.
like once him having like the keys and just ascending to that role, like who knows what he could push. So it's definitely gonna be close. If all seeds stay the same 4 or 5, I think whoever gets that home court advantage is very important for sure. Um, I think it can go 6 or 7 though. Um, last year when they
Yeah.
played, who had home court? Was it Cleveland
Yeah.
or
Cleveland had a home court.
they did? Damn, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough.
my thing is like New York, the expectation is always, if you're in the playoffs, not losing first round. So
You know?
that was even the case when they lost to Atlanta first round, right? They had the home court, didn't protect home court, they lost that series. But now I think back then it was a little bit more unrealistic that they were advancing through the playoffs. Now I feel like it's a little bit more realistic and the level has raised from last season. So they're more primed for a playoff run this year. And with Cleveland, I mean, they have to protect home court. That's the only way that I think they could beat New York because I don't think they're gonna travel well, personally.
Fair. That's fair.
Especially in the Garden, I
When
don't think they were gonna win.
yeah, then it's hard to that just that. I'll be honest, it's hard. Um,
Mm.
but when the Knicks when they played was it the Heat last year? That was the second round.
Hmm.
How many games did that go? Did they go 5 or 6? I don't remember.
I think that went 6. Yeah.
I want to say 6. Okay. I'm just trying to gauge like last year how far they went, like as far as like the back and forth, and trying to I guess compare it to now and how much the growth and just see like okay how much of it would stand still come this playoff time. But I'm not the 50% for me is a little too high, but I'm not mad at
Not gonna
the
lie,
Okay.
thought
50's
behind it.
crazy.
It's not
50 is
crazy,
high.
but I don't think it's crazy.
50
I
is like
think I think Julius Randle, his play has to translate to the playoffs as well, which started to a little bit last
yeah,
year. But it's been something that's followed him for a while, so that's gonna have to happen. And OG Anunoby is gonna have to be defending at a high level too. So I think those are the two things that I'm like depending on. I think that those two things can happen with the way they're playing right now. So biggest question mark for me though is Julius Randle though, and I think last year kind of put that noise a little bit in the back burner with how he played. So
you know, I hear.
Um,
let's just say
I don't know.
45%. Let's say 45%.
The reason I'm like that's high just because like if it's like 45 to 50%, then like we all think the Celtics are the best team in the East. So like they have to be the highest percentage wise of doing like 100% chart. It's like the
The
other teams have like a very
Celtics,
small percentage.
yeah, the Celtics have about a 80% chance, I'd say, to go to the conference finals.
Okay, 80, 45. Okay,
I ain't gonna lie. For
dang.
me personally, I would say there's a 50% chance that they lose in the first round, just because I think that it's gonna be 4 versus 5, and I think that's gonna be Cleveland versus Knicks, and I think that series is honestly a toss up. Especially, I do think that the Cavs will have home field advantage because I think that with that missing Julius Randle, I see them slipping on some games, and I think that the Cavs are
They
much
got Julius
better.
Randle. They got Julius Randle in the playoffs.
No, I'm talking about regular season. though. He's hurt.
Like
So
the standings.
I think they're
Oh,
gonna
okay,
fall. I
okay,
think they're gonna
okay.
fall a little bit because they're
Got you, got
the Cavs are only half a game behind. So I think that they could. It's honestly a 50% chance they lose in the first round because I think that series is 50. So me personally,
you. Yeah. All right. All right, all right, all right.
Also,
We
too,
can,
just to add, like
yeah.
Philly, they're 29-16. The Knicks are 30-17. Like, who's to say this is a 4-5 seed too? Like, Philly could drop. You know what I mean? Some could ascend. So who knows? This
yeah, it
conversation
could be
could be like
Philly
totally
too.
voided come playoff time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't know. Whoever gets that third seed, they want that because you're most likely either facing
Miami
Pacers
or
or
Indiana.
Heat. Yeah,
Mm.
and I if I'm a third seed, I don't want to face Indiana. Just I know they added Pascal, but like again, still like defensively, like there's still some pickup to happen.
Now I'd rather play Indiana than play the Cavs and Knicks or Philly, in my
That's what
opinion.
I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like whoever's at third seed,
Oh
like
yeah,
if you can face either like the Heat or the Pacers, I'm assuming that's gonna be one or two for 6 or 7. Remember the
yeah,
Magic? Who knows? But either way, if I'm a 3 seed, I'd rather be looking at that like than 4 or 5 seed.
yeah. That's
All
true.
right. Okay. Um, Next segment, we got the speak on it part of the episode where you talk about something that isn't getting enough coverage or something that's been on your mind regarding the NBA recently. So I'm gonna let you guys have the floor with this one, whoever wants to go first.
Um, Actually, you want to go first or?
I can go just because like mine. There's not much, I guess, too much depth about it. Just like an observation I made, kind of like these past couple of days. But I feel like this season, like not only entertainment wise has it been good, like the competitive play, like the amount of like high level play. I think also too, like as far as like the injuries this season, it hasn't been bad. Like you know how some seasons we have like Zion out for a majority of the season, Kawhi, Anthony Davis. Like I know,
Mhm.
unfortunately, we had Jaws been out this season. Um, but beyond that, I feel like that like the injuries as far as like from the star players from like top tier to above, I feel like it's been fairly well. Like I feel like players haven't missed too much games. I know Anthony Davis is like out tonight, but even within that, like he's played a fair amount of games. Zion too, Kawhi, PG. Um, I feel like teams really bought in this year, like and also understood like take it for granted, like when it comes regular season and playoff time, like okay, this is not we can't slip around anymore. Like the league is getting tougher. Um, in season tournament, like teams are progressing. You know, like the teams are young. You know, you see the Thunder, you see the Timberwolves, and it's like okay, we can't just slack off and just coast in the regular season. Like I think the injury history, I think has been fairly well, and like given the past couple of years, I feel like that's been like a big talking about like all these star players are getting hurt with all these resources. How do we maybe reduce some games X Y Z? Do we shorten seasons? You know what I mean? So it's like that's just observation I recognize the past couple of days. Like I feel like there has been really too many like serious like injury woes this season.
That's valid.
Yeah, it's not really much like I guess deep dive and talk, but it's like an observation of it.
Yeah. I would say it's definitely not the familiar faces, I would say.
Mm,
Uh, those guys like you said, Kawhi, AD, definitely trying to involve themselves a little bit more in the regular season, which is
mm,
good for the league, I'd say, just having the star players available. And, the NBA definitely putting more pressure on them to do those sort of things, which
yeah.
I think, like you said, it's made for a better product and made the NBA viewing much more better this season. So, yeah,
Mm.
I agree.
Like you're always gonna have like the occasional like players out 3 to 6 weeks. Like that's
Yeah,
normal, you
day
know
to
what I
day or
mean? But
things
just
like that.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just feels like there has been like a bunch of star players like they've been out for like like a long duration, like a month or two. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Well,
yeah. Who?
I mean, just look at my fantasy team.
Oh well, but I think
Yeah.
that's I mean timing is unfortunate. Um, I don't know.
Uh,
I just feel like, but like Lamelo, like we know he's gonna be out
Ja,
like some games. Ja's unfortunate though. Like Ja is just you know, but and he didn't even get to like play a lot of games beforehand because of suspension. So it's like that's it is what it
True.
is. Um, but
Draymond.
I mean beyond that, I mean Draymond he fighting. That's he ain't you know what I mean. That's physical damage, not so much his self. You know what I mean. But um, yeah, I can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the occasional Braun out some games, whatever, but it hasn't been too like injury woeful. So that's an observation I noticed.
The Cavs. Couple players.
I mean, Mobley back, DG back. Yeah, DG's been out for like
They were
over
out both
no,
for
I
a
think
while,
over a
like
month.
6 weeks at least. Yeah.
But that's like I feel like that's like normal. You know what I mean? You're gonna expect that.
True, true, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's a good point though. Good observation. Let's see
yeah.
if Ife can beat that.
Okay.
For me personally, the thing I want to really speak on is what's really going on with Miami because like right now they're on a 7 game losing streak. They traded for
Facts.
Terry Rozier, and so far, I mean, the Terry Rozier trade, yeah, they got better, but I don't really think it was a really good trade because Terry Rozier, he's been in Charlotte. He hasn't really played much meaningful basketball ever since the Boston days. So I feel like what the Miami really needed was a guard with some playoff experience that can play alongside with Hero and Butler. So yeah, I just think like what's going on with but the thing with Miami is like, yeah, they usually do much better in the playoff. But I feel like this year, like this might be like their worst regular season team in a while. So
Yeah. Last night, I mean, we was watching the game for chalkboard reasons, but
yeah,
like offensively, they look offensively they look. I mean, shout out Bam, but
Chalkboard. Galore.
no, no, but just like that. I mean, that game just kind of tuning in. And also like other games, I kind of tune in like a little bit here and there towards the end of the floor. Like offensively, they look like bad, bro. Like, oh
I
my
agree.
goodness. And like with Jimmy being out, just not come back not too long ago. Tyler Hero too. Like, like you mentioned the Rozier addition. Like, I don't know how drastic that's really going to help the offense. I do think they need like more of a facilitator, and I think with the Kyle Lowry like addition, that was like the plans a good facilitator that could hit a couple shots, play make, but that just didn't really work out, and I don't really know what more is on the market for them to really like adjust their offense, but it just I don't know, it doesn't look fluid, like it just looks stagnant. Even Jimmy himself, Jaime Jaquez, like Tyler Hero's had a good season, don't get me wrong, but it's just like I don't know what's up with. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's like their style of play that's just how they are. But it just the offense just looks kind of funky a bit.
I agree. But I mean,
Yeah.
they were 8 seed last year. So lost the first playing game, went to the conference
Yeah, that's
finals.
the thing. They
So
can they can get hot anytime.
they can get
So
hot.
I
Yeah.
guess regular
Matchup
season doesn't
wise,
really.
they're good.
Yeah. Like, do they get away with that though? Like this
No,
season? That's the
but I
thing.
will say though, I think they'll miss Kyle Lowry's presence in the playoffs
Yeah,
though,
I agree.
because they're missing that point guard now.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So maybe they do make another move, but Terry Rozier definitely brings scoring, a little bit more like freestyle-ness to the offense with his ability to create. But yeah, I just think Kyle Lowry just brought so much, not only for their offense, but defensively, that might have gone unnoticed because his stats might not have been as good as they were in Toronto. So I think they'll miss that, but that's another team that could potentially try to make another move if they feel like they need to. But again, they're a team that tends to figure it out. So although they're on this, what was it you said, Ife? 7 game winning streak? Losing
seven
streak?
game losing streak,
Losing streak.
Losing
Yeah.
streak? Yeah, losing streak. I think they'll figure it out come
playoff time.
playoff time for sure. Go to the Eastern Conference Finals and then lose as Jimmy Butler tends to do. So we'll kind
This
of play.
this is crazy. Like this man's been to 2 finals. What have we done? All right.
Facts,
Uh-uh.
facts.
I'm still. Hey, I'm still a Jimmy guy. I do through it all, but
No, I was just playing. But anyway, so we can move
all right,
on.
playing for the cameras. All right,
We can move
what they
on.
do in real life behind closed doors.
I'm from Minnesota. That's all you
Yes.
need to know. So, Jimmy
Yes.
Butler, just
Yes.
Anyway, next topic, last topic. We got a little trivia for you guys.
Mm.
You guys are familiar with Inside the NBA, right? TNT.
Oh yeah, I think I know this is gonna
Yeah,
be.
we call this
Did I freeze?
we basically calling this the finales edition of who he played for. All right. So
Mm.
I'm gonna ask you some guys around the league, and I'm gonna see where your knowledge lies with these
Okay.
guys, and it's just pretty much testing your the depth, let's just say, of your NBA roster awareness.
Mm.
You guys good for that? You guys ready?
Yeah.
I didn't want you to prepare for this because you might have just,
Yeah.
got on some random app and start, generating players and try to find like these random dudes. So I just want you guys
No,
to
I feel like even I
see
feel like you
what you
can't even
got.
prepare for that anyways. Not gonna lie, because like, how do you
You
prepare for
could,
like a rank?
you
Eh.
could, if you're a good
If they're not in the
studier.
rotation heavy like that, but I guess
All right, who want to go first?
I can go no matter.
All right, basically how we're just gonna do this is I'm gonna ask you five particular players, and I'm gonna ask Ife his five particular players, and then we'll have a final round at the end. All right.
All right.
This all in good fun, really. So just have fun with it.
Okay. All right.
Uh, all right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, let me get my screen prepared here.
Mm.
All right, first one up. First player up. Frank Ntilikina.
Oh my God, he's in the league. Okay. No. Hold on. Can
Damn.
I wait? Can I pull up like the?
Hold on. Let's just before you continue, let's just say,
Mm.
do we want to put a timer on this, cause or per question maybe?
Um,
I'll give you
we
30
can do per
seconds per
question.
question. Per question, 30
Okay,
seconds. Is that fair?
that's fine. Yeah. Can
All
I
right,
look at
30
like the
question.
stand, like the teams? Can I look like not
Nah,
like the roster?
nah.
Okay. Um, I even know something. And they're all still in the league.
Yes, I'm not gonna give you someone
Yeah.
out the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No. 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 Right.
Yes.
Bro.
Look, okay,
Um.
I think I know this.
20. 10 seconds left.
East or west? East or west? East or west?
I'm not hinting you though. I'm not.
I'm. Oh, Dallas.
Nah, you can't tell me nothing. You
Nah,
just gotta
that's wrong.
guess.
Oh,
That's wrong.
who is it?
I think it
It's
is
the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, I'm definitely. Yeah, I ain't
Marcus.
watching no Charlotte games. Definitely
All
guessing
right.
that.
That's
Oh,
0 for 1.
okay. I saw him on the roster like a couple weeks ago, and I was
Did they just pick him up or something, or he always been there?
I think you've been there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right.
My
Next
fault,
one.
Hank.
Ready?
Mm,
30-second timer. Joe
mm.
Harris.
Detroit.
Yeah, correct. That's a
Yeah, yeah,
W.
yeah,
Good job.
yeah.
Good job. Good job. Back on the board, right?
Mm.
All right. Um, Next one up. Thomas Bryant.
Oh my god. Okay.
I think I know this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's not. That's the one that I'm not. Mm,
10 seconds
Lakers.
oh my.
left.
No. I don't know. Raptors? No, that's not there.
Nah,
He knows not there.
Miami Heat.
Oh, I'm not watching them like that either. What the heck? I only watch them for Chuck Boy. All right.
All right. That's 1 for 3 right now. All right. Next one up.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Bag Marvin Bagley.
That one's Wizards. I know that one.
Yeah, just got traded. All
Yeah.
right, 2 for
Mm.
4.
You're finished with three. I'll be good.
I'm lagging.
All right, and this last one,
Mm.
should be good for you.
Okay.
Grady Dick.
Toronto.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Good job.
I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of easy. That's like that's a whole rookie G.
I mean, you never know. Some guys not might not get that one.
Fair, fair,
He's
fair.
not
I'll
really
take it
playing
though.
like that. All right.
Sure. Bro, Frankie
Ife.
Thomas Bryant is hard, bro. What? All right. It is what it is.
Ife, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Ashford went 3 for 5. Ife, let's see if you can
Can you hear
top
me?
that. I can hear you. Oh, you can't hear us?
Okay. No, no, I was lagging. Y'all were lagging for a little bit, but I think y'all good.
Okay, okay.
All right. We good?
What's
All
going
right. First one up.
Yeah.
Um, damn. This man responded. I said that 10 seconds ago. Are you ready?
Yeah. Am I lagging?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
You kind of like responding to us like
All
six
right. Low
seconds after
key.
us. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Just might need to get that internet checked out after the episode. But first one up, uh Dennis Smith Jr.
Wow. I know
I
that one.
know this. I know this. I know this. Oh, Charlotte?
Uh, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Yeah, Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. He's on Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I actually knew that.
All right. Next one up.
Like, I'm about to go 0 for 5.
No, no, you good,
Next
you
one
good, you
up.
good.
Are you ready? Next one up.
Yeah.
Jalen McDaniels.
I know this one.
Raptors?
Yeah.
Philly.
Okay.
Oh,
Good
really?
enough. Yeah. Oh, you said Philly? No, he's on the Raptors.
When did Philly give him up?
I mean, he left in the offseason.
Oh, I know that. Okay, never mind. I don't care about it though.
Yeah, you got that right. All right.
No, I felt confident. I thought he was still in Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Let me show my ass
uh,
up there.
no. Okay. All right, Ife, third one up. Um, Paul Reed.
Oh, that's Philly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Fourth one. JaVale McGee.
Oh, that's Sacramento.
Yeah. Damn.
Damn, okay. Is he
Last one.
clutch? Is he clutch?
Last one.
Is he Jokic or is he Jared Allen?
Sam Hauser.
Bro,
Oh, that's Boston. I ain't gonna give me easy ones, no cap.
yeah, Marcos. Come on, man.
Was that easy?
That was easy. So
All right. So we got the final round. You guys are at
no, I
three. Three.
won.
No, there's a final round though, because the final round is gonna determine who's gonna win.
Oh, but I got 4.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie.
So base
Wait, so what was the point of that then? If we're gonna do like a, I mean, I don't mind,
Yeah.
but
the final round is first one to answer it just gets the point, and then I'm gonna ask you 5.
Okay.
oh, okay, okay.
So Ife got the 1 point lead right now. Let's see if he's gonna, pull a 2016 Oklahoma City Thunder or pull a 2016 Cleveland
I I,
Cavaliers.
I ain't quick. I got like
This man pulling up the databases to find all these players. But
no.
all right, all right. Starting off, first one up, and just blurt it out, right? Okay. Patty Mills.
I don't know this one.
Patty
Do we just say teams?
Yeah. Like you got obviously trying to get
Washington,
it right.
Clippers?
I'll let you know when you get it right.
Okay. Detroit?
Memphis, Houston, San Antonio,
Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Phoenix.
Atlanta? Okay, wait.
Atlanta. All right, 4-4. All right.
Didn't even know Buddy was in the league. Okay.
Next one.
Mm.
Actually, no, you guys are gonna get these. Actually, I feel like
Mm.
they're way too easy. I'm gonna create 4 more. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ish Wainwright.
Washington.
Phoenix,
Detroit.
Detroit, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Miami, T-Wolves,
Nets.
Cavs,
San Antonio.
Indy,
No. Memphis.
uh,
Portland. Golden
Portland.
State.
uh,
Oh, Portland.
So the whole standings. All right. So Portland 5-4 Ife. KJ Martin.
Oh, Los
Clippers,
Angeles.
Clippers,
Is it Clippers?
Rockets,
Hornets.
Rockets,
Detroit.
Thunder,
San
Sacramento,
Antonio.
Pelicans, Grizzlies,
Atlanta. Chicago.
Jazz, no, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards, Detroit,
Memphis.
Cavs,
Memphis.
Bulls,
Golden State.
Magic,
Los
Bucks,
Angeles.
Celtics,
Lakers.
Philly,
Pelicans. Mavs. Suns. Kings.
Philly.
Lakers.
Nuggets,
Thunder.
Philly.
Knicks.
Jazz,
Philly.
Rockets. I said Philly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that's what I'm
Five
saying.
five five 5-5. Joe Ingles.
Magic.
Brooklyn.
Magic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know that one.
All right. Last one, potentially.
Mm.
It's for the win. Blake Wesley.
Oh. Blake Wesley. I know
Wizards?
this. San Antonio.
Clippers?
San Antonio.
I
Ooh.
was gonna say yeah. I did not know that.
All right. Sudden death.
Mm.
Sudden death right here.
Mm.
Ben Shepherd.
Oh,
Rockets,
Indiana.
Clippers. Dang.
Indiana. That's for the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. I didn't know that one. GG's. Damn, that's back-to-back sudden deaths, man. What the heck?
It's another sudden death win for Ife. Ashford, what's pretty much the thought process behind these losses and what's going on?
I don't know. Foul hard. This is the same. No, this is the second where I had the lead. Try to go for it. Brian blocked me
Yeah.
at the end. Redemption. L's aren't forever, so we will come back. Get back on our bully. We'll be back.
Facts.
What do you think went wrong though?
I mean, I got him wrong. There's not really much more of analysis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I lost. Like, you do want me to say it in more? Like, what you want?
Yeah.
Like, but
Okay.
okay. What do you think I could have done
Uh,
better, Markos? Tell me.
I mean, just getting them correct.
Know your
quicker.
players.
That's
Oh, okay.
pretty much it.
So that's pretty much
I
what I
know
said.
the last two are obvious though.
Yeah.
No, I know no Blake Wesley or Ben Shepherd. I'm sorry. So that one just yeah.
True. They be playing.
I mean,
Yeah.
just got to do better with that. That's on you. But yeah, that was everything.
All right.
For
That's on you. You're a failure.
just remember that. No.
You sleep at night.
Yeah,
Just know you're always wrong.
That's episode 84. Appreciate you guys coming on. Good conversations today, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Next NBA pod. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.